Welcome to the Daves of our lives. The opinions, comments, and views expressed on this podcast do not reflect the opinions or views of Dave or any other Daves. All comments should be taken as parody and or satire. Thank you for listening. Welcome to the Daves of our lives. I'm here with my co-host, Dave.
My co-host, Dave O. We have a very exciting new Dave. Welcome to the Dave Nation.
Good to be here.
Now, I haven't figured out how to pronounce your last name.
Bresnahan.
Bresnahan.
Sounds like it's spelled.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Dave Bresnahan.
Ancient Irish name.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome, Dave Bresnahan. We're glad to have you on.
Good to be here.
I'm going to introduce something to you. Our last guest had these mugs made up for us that have a logo, which we are going to, I'm going to ask you to send us your address so we can send you one of these mugs as well.
Oh, that's
for being
cool.
a guest on our podcast. So
that's cool. Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, he blew us away.
I'm done. We're done. This is over. Just send me the mug and we're done.
That's it. We got it. We got all we need.
Yeah, last time he came over, we've never met him, and he brought us these as a gift because he loves doing laser engraving.
Oh,
and,
cool.
For me, this is really fun just to meet. I think people in general are fun, but meeting other Daves has been a blast.
That's a great concept. It's a great concept for your show.
Yeah, we've enjoyed it. How do we want to get started? Is there a question that you want to start off with, Dave, to ask our guest?
I do have a question for you. And this is going to be out of left field, pun intended. When I looked you up, so I tried to do a little bit of research, right? And so I'm reading the IMDb. And I decided I'll just go on YouTube and I'll type your name in. And as I'm typing your name in, it auto fills in potato at the end of your name.
That's a different Dave.
So no. I need to know, where were you on? I
was not in Williamsport, and I was not playing AAA baseball.
August 31st, 1987, the Great Potato Caper.
Yes, it is.
So you know about this.
Absolutely brilliant. Oh, sure. We know each other. We've been to a Arizona Diamondbacks game together, and his kids and my kids know each other, so it's been fun.
That's awesome. Just to let our audience know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a catcher took a potato, he peeled it into a baseball shape, and he drew on it to make it look like a baseball. And then at some point in the game, he made a switch, so it looked like he was throwing the ball to try to get somebody out.
Oh, it's like a trick play?
Oh, it's a trick play.
Yeah.
But he had the ball actually with him. And the ball fell apart midair. But the runner didn't see that. They just thought that the catcher didn't have the ball, but he was like, surprise, I have the ball.
So it was a throw to third base, and the umpire didn't like it at all. If you're going to do a trick play, you actually have to have the real ball. And so, unfortunately for him, that was the end of his baseball career. He got tossed.
Oh, permanently.
Permanently, you're out of here. And the good part was he was planning to quit at the end of that season anyway, and there was only 4 games left because he had reached, mid-30s, late 30s, and hadn't made it past AAA, and he was just tired of it. He now had a family, and it was so destructive to his family and home life, he decided this is it. So the fact that he got tossed was okay by him because he got 4 days off. And the team has him come out for Potato Day once a year.
Oh, that's awesome.
On that
He's
day,
a legend.
you can get into the ballpark to see the game for
a potato.
And they give it they give it to the food pantry people, and they collect all these millions of potatoes.
Oh, that's
and you
pretty
also
cool.
have the option of bringing canned food and other stuff to donate. So it has become one of the largest sources of donations for that food pantry. Is this game that they have each year? He comes to it and sits at the table and signs photos, autographs, stuff like
And
that.
potatoes.
Does he autograph potatoes?
Yeah. And the cool part is he gets paid for doing it.
Oh, that's cool.
Pardon me. And he said he makes more money than he did as a AAA ball player. So that's a cool thing. Yeah.
Well, how did you two meet then? I mean, same name, and did you just connect through that?
So the fact that I do a lot of genealogy research, we have my second cousin. I think he's 2 times removed. My second cousin is Roger Bresnahan.
Okay.
Roger Bresnahan was an old-time baseball player and is the first catcher in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And so I did searches for things like Bresnahan baseball, stuff like that, similar to what you did. And this was back in the early days of internet. And I found him. And when I did, I had to do a detective work to actually contact him. But he was actively promoting himself, at least at that time. I don't know if he is now, because he's a stockbroker.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And so he had a financial page set up.
Sure.
And on his list of here's what I've done in life, it listed it at ball player. And so I thought this has to be the guy. Called him up. Sure enough, it's the guy. And I'm here in Utah and he's in Arizona, and I love baseball. I literally grew up in Fenway Park. I used to skip school and go there for day games. And
Awesome.
so we hit it off right away. And he was doing the same thing as me. He was coaching the local high school baseball team. I was coaching high school baseball team here. And so we had a lot in common. We got together and we just had a great time.
That's awesome.
That's such a cool story. Now
So genealogy helps you find your living relatives, you see.
Yeah. A plug for doing your family history work.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah.
So you coached high school baseball, but that's not the only sport you've coached.
Correct. I coached gymnastics.
Gymnastics. Can you tell us about your journey in gymnastics?
So that's kind of an interesting story, because keep in mind, I joined the church when I was 27.
Okay. So Dave, you are a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Yes, I am.
As are both of us.
And so my story in gymnastics is before I was converted.
Okay.
But gymnastics is the reason I got interested in the church. So high school, I was, there's no other way to put it than I was this really buff, good-looking kid that all the girls came to watch at the practice.
Okay.
This is he went from David to Dave.
This is a David story.
No. It's a Dave.
No,
He's buff and
this is
strong.
No, the only
Dave story.
The only one that called me David was my mom.
Okay.
Like when you're in trouble.
She would always say, "Why do you let people call you Dave?" And I said, "Because it's more friendly, and they're friends, and they want to call me Dave." And she said, "David is a beautiful name. You shouldn't change that." So she never liked the fact that people called me Dave. But back to the gymnastics. Girls would show up and they'd sit in the bleachers of the gym while we were practicing. And it's pretty common, gymnasts then, gymnasts today, if you go to a workout, you'll see a lot of guys not wearing a shirt.
That makes sense.
And well, it is a kind of an athletic event that, quite frankly, you're always hot and got to get that shirt off. It's kind of like having an all-out workout in a gym with a bunch of weights.
Yep.
Listen, I had to get him to put his shirt on to do the podcast. We understand.
Gotcha.
My preference is shirtless, but No,
Yeah.
I live in polite society.
Well, for me, that's not anymore. I've started to be the tubby old dude. But anyway, the attraction was me, and the coach used to chase the girls out after a little while because he felt they were distracting me. And
Were they?
yeah.
Okay.
And so and that was interesting because he was a Jehovah's Witness and he was always trying to talk religion with me. Um,
Did you did you have any
No.
organized religion, any religious background
I
at this
come
point?
from an Irish Catholic father and a Swedish Protestant mother.
Okay.
Hey.
So because of this, I was not, as a young kid, I'd bounce back and forth, go with one, go with the other. They're both very faithful, went to their church every Sunday, and I didn't know what to make of this. It's confusing for a kid. And by the time I got to high school, I actually was very interested in trying to figure out one of them is right and one of them's wrong. Now, who's right and who's wrong? So I came to the conclusion they were both wrong. And
Sounds a lot like somebody that I've read about.
yeah, I kind of went through this confusing experience over religion. But back to the gymnastics, from high school and so I was the star of the team, and I had a lot of fun with that. And then I went to college, and I was a walk-on. And
What college was this, Dave?
so at the time, the name of the school was Lowell Technological Institute.
Okay.
Where was this at?
Now it's in Lowell, Massachusetts.
Okay.
So it is now the University of Lowell in the UMass system.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And
So you were a walk-on.
I was a walk-on, and I was good for 2.5 years, and then I got hurt, and that was the end of that.
Dang.
Yeah. And my coat, it was my wrist. I landed on it bad, and there's a bunch of little bones in there, and I screwed one up.
Ouch.
It was very painful. I couldn't perform in gymnastics because the slightest touch sent like knives going through my arm. And the coach was of the belief that it was all going to work itself out and I'd be back the next season. So in the meantime, he said, look, I know there's a high school that needs a coach. The coach had actually died like a few days before the season's about to begin. And he said he had gotten a call. Do you know anybody? And he said, you want to go and coach this team? I'll call and tell him. If I tell him you're coming, you've got the job. And so I said, yeah, tell him I'll do it. And so I ended up coaching at Medway High School in Massachusetts, and took the team from last place in the state to 7th place, which is great, but there was like 40 teams.
I was going to ask, were there only 7 teams? Took them from last to 7th.
Yeah.
No, out of 40, that's very impressive.
Yeah, so we did a darn good job, impressed a lot of people, including my coach. And he just said, you've got a skill I didn't know you had. And so I thought, yeah, well, I'm going to keep doing this. It turned out I could not return to the sport as a competitor. So I then coached my own high school that I came from. The athletic director and I were good friends, and he heard about me coaching at Medway, and because my high school competed against Medway, and the coach told him and said, why don't you get him to coach back here? Westboro High School is the name of it, because I need to take a year off. And so I said, yeah, let's go for it. So I went to Westboro High School, coached there, and I took that team to the state championship, and we placed 3rd in the state that year. So that was cool.
Oh, nice.
I had never gotten to the state championship before. And at that point, I was convinced that coaching was going to be my life.
How old were you at this time?
I was 24 or 5, something like that.
Okay, so not many years removed from high school. Is that weird?
Oh no, yeah,
Being
it was very weird. Not only that, I'm small. I'm 5'5", and I was very slender, and I had plenty of hair at the time, and I looked like a high school kid. I did not look like a college kid.
yeah.
Yeah. I get that.
So very young looking for my
Yeah.
age at the time. I decided that I was going to open a gymnastics school as
Oh.
a private gym school because I saw the handwriting on the wall. High school gymnastics was dying, and
Got
today
it.
it's gone. And I could see that happening. So I thought, there's not going to be a place to go. Ultimately, I opened a school called Turnfest School of Gymnastics, and we ended up being the largest gymnastics school in the country. I had 2,000 students there.
Wow.
Was that at one location, 2,000 students?
One location, correct.
And how many instructors worked there?
9.
That's
For
a
2,000
that's a whole
students.
high school.
How many classes were you running?
So those classes, now when I talk students, I'm including the little teeny tinies that come in the morning when school's underway.
Yeah.
So mom brings the little kids for tumbling classes and things like that. So we had those all the way up through high school. I coached kids that ultimately went to the Olympics, and kids that made it to our national team came out of my school. We're talking boys.
Okay.
I had both boys and girls, but the boys team is what was my claim to fame. So quite frankly, I hired another coach who to this day, we're really good friends. Frank Corbett coached the girls, I coached the guys. And we kept going pretty strong until I think it was boy, this dates everything. Holy cow.
That's all right.
1978.
78. Okay.
It was a good year, I heard.
No.
You were born, Dave?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was still in planning.
And in Massachusetts in that year, there was the gasoline fuel crisis.
Oh, yeah.
There were lines at the gas stations. People were
Jimmy
having
Carter
fights, trying to get, and gas was limited. Like sometimes you could only get 2 gallons after you've been waiting in line for hours. So pretty bad. And I had to heat this gigantic building. I had a building equivalent of a gym, and that's expensive to heat all that space in the wintertime, especially in New England. And it just blew me away. I was trying to have a very economical experience for people. It was about $16 a month to have your kid come to a weekly lesson at my gym. So that's a bargain deal.
Yeah.
And
it's $16 a month?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I wasn't flush. The people who worked for me made more money than I did.
What would that be with inflation?
That's what I'm looking up. We don't fact check.
Dave's going to fact check the...
But I think it's like 50.
$50 a month?
That's what I'm guessing.
Not bad for...
Yeah. So the bottom line was that I couldn't afford
$80.
$80. Okay.
That ain't bad
I couldn't
for
afford to heat
gymnastic
that building.
lessons.
So it was time to close the doors, and I kept the boys high level team going, but that was all. And I did that because the house that I bought this old house. There's this old Victorian mansion actually in Worcester, Mass, and it had a great big barn behind it.
Oh,
and
so you convert the barn into a gymnastics gym?
Barn into a small gym, and we improvised on a lot of things. We couldn't set everything up at one time. So if we're working on the high bar was up. Then we'd take it down and put up the parallel bars. Then we'd take it down and put out the pommel horse and things like that. In order to do tumbling, we had to run a platform out the door. Now the door, it's the big garage door thing.
Yeah.
So run that out the door, and you can imagine the wintertime trying to do this. And they would tumble down this thing, and it was improv all the way. And the bottom line is, like I said, we produced top level performers. In fact, on Friday, I'm going to meet one of my gymnasts who I haven't seen since the 80s. He was one of the kids that worked out in that barn.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mike Kane. When I kept that going for a couple of years, and then I had this great house that I converted it into 6 rental units. And I would live in one, fix the others, move myself out, fix that. And eventually I had 6 units, and I was renting them to Clark University students. So,
Okay.
And it was a guaranteed thing. I put a little notice on their bulletin board, and within hours, I'm full.
You had it full.
Yeah, no problem. And
this was that same old Victorian house in Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, turned it into 6 units. So that's an attractive thing, and there are real estate investors out there, and I got a knock on my door, and I said, oh my goodness, I bought the house for $36,000 and I sold it. Wow, can you believe it? 42,000. I thought I had made this gigantic profit, and I was just so happy. And it was right at the time I had joined the LDS Church, and the coach BYU men's team was excited about me because I had already sent one of my kids and put him on his team, and was the star of his team. He was just so excited to have him. And so he said, look, I have a boys gym program here, and I just don't have time to teach it myself. Why don't you come here? We have all these great single women you need to meet. and you can run this program, and you keep 100%. He said, I won't take any percent of it. It's my gym thing. You got it. It's all yours. You come here, and you'll be the feeder program for BYU. And so I said, sign me up. That's great.
Did he tell you didn't have to wear a shirt if you wanted to?
So this kid that I sent there, he and I, he wanted me to help him with some stuff he was working on. So everybody in the gym was gone. It was just he and I, and it's now nighttime, and we are working out together in the gym and helping him with a move he wants to do. So we took a break, and we went to a classroom that was down the hall where we could just sit, because it was, if you don't sit on the floor, there's no place to sit in the gym. So we went there, and we got some junk food and some soda and stuff. We're sitting there just trying to get our resupply of sugar in our body. And we're sitting there, and this guy comes along, and he's a security guy from BYU, and he walks up and he says, and he's laughing, and he says, I can see that this person looked in the door, and because of the desk you're sitting at, couldn't see that you were clothed, but they thought 2 guys are sitting in here naked. And because we didn't have shirts on, and gymnasts don't wear, like sneakers or something. You go barefoot.
So you're barefoot, shirtless.
You see bare feet, and you see the bare top, and some person complained that we were naked.
Well, this was at BYU?
That was at BYU.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So how old are you when you went to go do that at BYU?
So I don't know.
That's okay. I'm just
having to make me do math. But let's just say in 1980, I was 27.
Okay.
That's when I joined the church.
Now, before we started the call, you mentioned talking about that. Are you comfortable sharing your conversion story?
Absolutely. It's a fun story. I was coach of the USA men's gymnastics team. That was in 1986. So I'm coming along, and I'm doing pretty well, and I'm a sought-after coach. And there's a program at that time that was called the Junior Olympic Gymnastics Summer Camp. And I was recruited to go there to coach these kids for 8 weeks in the summer. And they were going to pay me more money than I'd ever been paid for anything. And, they're making the offer and saying, would you think this would be enough? And I looked at them and I'm ready to just jump out of my skin. I'm so excited. And I just said, well, I think I need a little bit more gas money because it's a long way from home and I'm going to visit the parents on the weekend. And so can you add $50 a week? And they were, oh yeah, that's no problem. And I'm just going, oh, I should have asked for 100. So I got $800 a week for that gig, and I was just so excited. And
in what year was this? 1980.
So that would have been in 79, summer of 79.
Okay, 1979, $800 a week.
It's like $4,000
a month,
a week.
I was considered
like
just
5x.
To try to put you in the thing. I was considered a celebrity within the sport.
Okay.
And they thought they were having to compete with the other regular summer camps, which they were, but they were going to pay $500. So I didn't tell them that, but they thought they were going to have to, have a good enough price that I wouldn't go anywhere else. So bottom line is, at that camp, there were 2 kids from Denver, Colorado, and they had driven from Denver all the way to that camp by themselves, 16 years old. And that's the first thing that caught my attention. Are these kids legit? What parent lets their kid drive halfway across the country with no adult supervision? I'm just, wow, how could this be?
A parent that I wish I had when I was 16.
Yeah.
They sound like my parents. Trust me.
Exactly. I couldn't even use a car for a weekend date night or something. It was terrible. So these 2 kids were just amazing to me. One, they were really good gymnasts. So that, and they were easy to work with, easy to coach. But they were very cool. Everybody liked them. They were cool kids, but they were not the typical cool kids. These were really good kids, and all so good it was hard to believe, really hard to believe. We had 2 dormitories. We were renting a boarding school, a high school boarding. So there's a whole bunch of those in Massachusetts, and this was out in the Berkshires, in the western part of Massachusetts.
Okay,
and they rented this thing. So it has a boys' dorm and a girls' dorm. And we had to put people on staff that we had to keep rotating every night, a different one. But we had staff outside these buildings patrolling to keep them from meeting up and keep them from leaving the building and going into the woods, because we were right in the Berkshire Mountains and there's plenty of places to go hide in the woods and have their beer parties and stuff. And so it was like this major operation every single night.
Major operation.
Yeah. And so we never had problems with these 2 kids. They're just good kids, and everybody liked them. There was no. I was the designated guy for conflict resolution when kids are going at it.
Yeah.
And so I never had a problem with them ever. We did have future Olympians attending this camp. And so I can tell you, because we were where we were, I got inspired and I thought, I know what I can do with these kids at night, that they'll have a blast. And at least one night we'll have a deal where we don't have to worry. So we took kids, some of which ended up being Olympians. We're out doing this. We went cow tipping. I legitimately took these kids out who had never even seen a cow, other than maybe a picture. But there's this dairy farm adjacent to this school, and so we're sneaking out, and that's fun for a kid. We're sneaking out and they're hiding, and you go up to the side of the cow, of course, and push them over. All you get is this big moo, and the cow gives you a dirty look. So that was my fun. And
Good clean fun.
It's not
yeah,
clean.
yeah.
The
So
cows, they
these
poop.
the
Yes.
two kids from Denver almost ruined it. They knew all about cow tipping,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
I had to run over and shut them up really quick before they ruined my whole deal. Um, so we're about 4 weeks into an 8-week camp, and I have a kid up on the rings, and I'm standing close because he's trying a very tricky move for the first time, and he could kill himself. So I'm right there to catch him. And while this is going on, there's kids sitting on the mat below. They're all learning. I'm talking about how to do this, see what he's doing here. And there's this little commotion going on. And so I turned to look and see what's happening. It's the two kids from Denver, and some kid is having an argument. I don't even know what was going on. And he says to him, "What are you guys, Mormons or something?" And the kid says, "Well, as a matter of fact," and that's my first Mormon I ever met.
Okay.
And I mean, in Massachusetts, seriously, there were no Mormons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very few back then, anyway. And so I just kind of registered that in my head. I never talked to them about their church. Never.
Had you heard of Mormons before then?
I heard of Mormons. I was curious, but I knew nothing about them except they had a choir.
Oh, all right. Not a bad pop culture reference.
It's a good choir.
So it was both my mom and her mother, my grandmother, both had Mormon Tab record albums, vinyl albums for Christmas music.
Yeah.
And so I, as a kid, grew up listening to Mormon Tab Christmas at both places. And that's it. That's all I knew about them. And I didn't ask questions of these kids. But as the summer went on, and I'm really keeping an eye on this, and I'm thinking, it has to be this church that makes them so different. And so I was on a gymnastics trip for a competition where BYU.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
BYU hosted the Junior Olympic National Championship. And I took 3 gymnasts there the following year in 1980.
Okay.
It was like June-ish. And so we went there. And as a part of the trip, I'm a tourist, right? We drove out there from Massachusetts. And I thought, well, let's go see the tourist sites. Well,
Temple Square.
Temple Square. So those 3 kids, nah, we're not going to go there. That's boring. They wanted to just stay on campus and check it out. So I said, okay, I'm going to take a drive. I went to Temple Square all by myself. And I immediately felt right out of place because these 2 lovely young ladies dressed great. And I'm in a gymnastic t-shirts and cut off jeans. And I just thought, no, I'm in the wrong spot. And they wanted to take me on a tour. And I said, look, I'll take a couple of those brochures you got. I'll read them. And if I like what I see, I'll come back and go on the tour.
Was it just your clothing made you feel uncomfortable given their attire?
I was very self-aware. I
underdressed.
I looked at it and I just went, everybody around me is dressed really good. And I'm not. I'm the standout weird guy. I'm out of here. And so I went back, got in my car. Oh, and my car had this little ticket on the window. And I was like, oh, no, I had a ticket. And I got the ticket and it says, "We see you're visiting from out of state. Welcome. We're glad you're here." And I thought, holy cow, this is an amazing.
Did it still have a ticket?
No, there was no ticket. It was, and it says right on it, this is not a ticket. I've got it saved in one of my journals somewhere. But I took the pamphlets, put them in the glove compartment, and I did not read them on purpose because I will do what I say. I said, I'll read them. If I like what I see, I'll come back. Well, I couldn't take any chances. So I put them in the glove compartment and I thought, well, I'll wait and read them when I get back to Massachusetts. And then I'd be too far away to go on a tour. So that's how I rationalized the whole thing. So indeed, got back to Massachusetts. And I don't know what it was that set me off, but I just realized oh, those pamphlets, I gotta check that out. And I went out to my car. Sure enough, they're still there. And I went, oh, good. And I got them, brought them in. One of them said, "What of the Mormons?" And the other one said, "Joseph Smith's testimony."
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Joseph Smith's testimony, that sounded like a court case or something. And I thought, boring. So I read What of the Mormons, and it was just right for me. It told the story of a family that's in the church and what it was like for them to be a Mormon. And it talked about family home evening, the kid went to Boy Scouts, church and church events, Relief Society. It just went through everything. And in fact, the fact that it said Boy Scouts, I thought, well, it can't be that bad of a deal because the Boy Scouts are pretty cool. I was an Eagle Scout. And
okay.
at that very time, I was a Scoutmaster for a troop in the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Yeah.
it was something that caught my eye, and I said, if they got Boy Scouts, they can't be all that bad.
Yeah.
So,
Dave, are you an Eagle?
No, it's hard to do Boy Scouts of America when you're in Russia.
Oh, that's right. You were in Russia.
oh, Очень приятно познакомиться.
Да, очень приятно познакомиться с вами.
Yeah. So that's from gymnastics.
I don't
So I
speak
used to-
Russian.
When
He's not a cool Dave. He's an okay Dave.
So when I would travel for gymnastics, I would always learn the little polite things, nice just to have a little conversation, and very quickly learned no matter where I went, I didn't need it because everybody spoke English.
Yeah.
But so when I was coach of the U.S. team, I took them to Moscow and then over to Latvia.
What year was it in Moscow?
It's 86.
86. So it's before the wall came down.
I lived there in 92.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Wow. So I did everything wrong. That's another whole story, but I did everything wrong. I brought a case of Book of Mormon with me on that trip.
Super contraband.
Oh, bad. I got warned. The International Mission Department of the church knew that I was going, and they contacted me, and they wanted me to contact some members. There were, at the time, 4 members living in Moscow. That's it, 4. And they wanted me to contact them, make sure they're okay. And they made a point of telling me, no proselyting, don't say a word, nothing. Don't give out pamphlets, don't give out Book of Mormon.
We don't want an international incident on our hands.
This guy, Mr. Rebel, I'm just kind of a walking billboard for the church. And so I always have a Book of Mormon. I always give them out. And I gave away an entire case of Book of Mormon sitting in the Moscow Olympic Training Center dining room that they had for everybody. And there were gymnasts who came from other countries. They would come over to our table, the U.S. table, and ask, could they eat dinner with us? And at first, this is kind of strange, but sure, hey, come on over. I remember there's one dude came from Syria, and he wanted to eat with the U.S. team. So I'd always say his copy of the Book of Mormon. You'll find this interesting, and I'd show him what pages to read and stuff.
You gave a guy from Syria a copy of the Book of Mormon?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
All right. Way to go.
And so then I had people coming to our table. Within a matter of a few days, they came to the table and they asked for a copy of the American Bible.
Oh, is that what okay.
They were calling it the American Bible.
Amerikanskaya Biblia.
I thought that was interesting. So anyway,
we got off track. You were telling us.
Sorry, so
Boy Scouts.
No.
You were a Scoutmaster at the Catholic Church.
But it's all gymnastics, you see.
Yeah.
So that was like a whole nother life that I lived. The thing that happened was that I read this pamphlet, really liked it, wanted to know more, and the only thing I've got is Joseph Smith's testimony. And okay, I guess I'll read this boring one. And right away on the first page, my eyes are popping out of my head. I can't believe what I'm reading, and I'm thinking, how come I never knew about this guy, Joseph Smith? Because I'm really into history.
Yeah.
And I have a history minor, which is simply out of this kind of a hobby. And I just wanted to get some more stuff about history. Why didn't I know about him? I couldn't understand it. So bottom line, he was answering all the questions I'd always had as a kid. I'd ask my father's priest, it's a mystery. I'd ask my mother's minister, well, there's a lot of mixed answers to that. I don't know which one is true, but you certainly bring up an interesting topic. Boom, no answer. So I had question after question, and I hung out with a bunch of Jewish kids. That's from baseball. That's another story. We'll just skip it, but I had a lot of Jewish kids that I hung out with. And so I even said to one of them, I want to talk to your Jewish rabbi. You what? Yeah, I want to talk to your Jewish rabbi. And so I went and asked him questions. My mother nearly had a heart attack when I went home one day and said to her that I'd like to get bar mitzvahed. And the reason for that was not because of anything religious. It was because my friend who just had his bar mitzvah bragged about all the money he got.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So everybody came and put an envelope in this dish, and it was filled with big bucks. He made over $3,000 as a 12 or 13-year-old kid.
Yeah,
and
that's a lot.
I just was like, I want in on this. This is a good deal.
They've got something going on.
Yeah. So anyway, I was pretty astonished when I got to the end of the pamphlet, because it told all about how the Book of Mormon came about. It told all about Joseph Smith and everything he went through to protect it and translate it. And then it had some quotes from it. It quoted Moroni, chapter 10. How can you know if this is true? And in my head, I'm going, okay, tell me. I want to know how to know this is true. And I'm reading, and I just followed along with what Moroni said. And he said, you know, if I am sincere, real intent, I can pray, and God is going to answer me, and the Holy Ghost is going to make known everything and anything I want to know about. And so I took the pamphlet in my hands, knelt down by my bed, and I'm using the pamphlet as like a template because I don't know how to pray. So I'm using the pamphlet and just doing what it says. And I'm praying and I'm asking, and I'm praying out loud, which I'd never done in my life. And I simply put it to the test. I believed if there's a God, and I hope there is, but I don't know, but if there is, then I believe somehow he'll let me know if this is bunk or if it's for real. And I want to know. So there I am kneeling by my bed, giving this prayer. And I'm a typical Irishman. I can talk forever. And even in the prayer, I was kind of going for a while. And then all of a sudden, it was just beyond anything I'd ever experienced. As this confused kid, whenever I prayed, I say memorized prayers.
Yeah.
And when I said those prayers, they're just bouncing off the ceiling, you know. And in my mind, well, maybe somewhere there's a God who's listening, but I don't think so.
I feel that was more driven by the Catholic upbringing, the memorized prayers.
By my mother, who insisted I say a prayer before I go to bed at night.
Okay.
And I was
Our
trying
kids
to be
do the
obedient
same
to my
thing.
mother. She would come in and sit on the end of my bed and listen while I said a prayer, just to kind of make sure that I did.
Yeah.
So from that side of things, and I have told her it's her fault that I became a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. She would, I can distinctly remember when I was 5 or 6 years old, she would sit me down next to her on the couch, and my sister on the other side of her. My sister would have been just little tiny, 3 years younger than me. but she'd sit us both down and she would read Bible stories from this children's book of Bible stories.
Okay.
And I can remember that distinctly. And then she would take me to Sunday school at the Protestant church she belonged to. And at the Sunday school class, they always start, I don't know if they always, but they frequently started with a song. And the children's hymn that they sang was Jesus Loves Me, This I Know. And as a little kid, my mom would tell me, I don't remember doing it. My mom would tell me, though, that I would walk around the house singing that song like all day long. So I am in the middle of this prayer, and suddenly I had an incredible sense of warmth and love. And I'm asking if it's true, and I hear, you already know it's true. And I felt like, for the first time, that God heard and answered my prayer. I felt his love. I'd never had an experience like it. And suddenly, I didn't have to hope there was a God. For the first time, I knew there was a God. And I knew he was telling me, I have discovered the truth. And quite frankly, I just broke down and cried. I buried my face on the bed and I just sobbed because it was so overwhelming. I hadn't even gotten to say amen. My prayer was not over. And after a while, I gathered myself together and realized I need to finish this prayer. And my prayer became one of thanks, and it became of, now what? What do I do?
Yeah.
What do I do? And so all I had was this pamphlet, and I'm looking at it. On the back page, there's a list of missions. And there's a bunch of them listed on there, but there's only one near me, and it was in New York City.
Oh, wow.
And that answers that question. I can't go to New York City to go to church. And I figured mission must be what they call their church.
Remember, like a Catholic mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can remember the Alamo was a mission.
Yep.
And so I thought that's what they call their church. So I set it aside and I just kind of shrugged and went, oh, well. And the Lord wasn't going to let me go that easy.
You're getting nagged by the Spirit at that point, huh?
Kept getting bugged. I didn't know what was going on, but it's like I can't get it out of my head every day for days. And then, so you're probably not old enough, Dave O. But
I might be.
There used to be this thing that we called a phone book.
Dave's older than he looks.
I am older than I look.
He has these Asian genes.
The beginning had the white pages, the end of the book,
the yellow
had the
pages.
yellow pages.
Yep.
Kind of like you.
I don't remember what I was looking for, but I was looking for something in the yellow pages, and I'm flipping through, and I see the heading churches, and it caught my attention, and I just stopped dead right there, and I looked down the list, and oh my goodness, they have a church here in Worcester? How can I not know that there's a Mormon church only a few miles from my house? This is that Victorian mansion with the barn in the back.
Yeah.
So it was Sunday.
Perfect.
And I thought, oh, I should give him a call. And then I'm reaching for the phone, and I realized, wait a minute, this is their busy day. I better not bug them on their busy day. So I didn't call. Next day's Monday. And I'm thinking, oh, they've got some little old lady is the church secretary. She's working at her typewriter, and I'll call and give her a break from her work. And so I called, and that's back in the days when the church still had a custodian.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
they've got this little old guy. After I joined the church, I meet this guy, and he's this little old guy. He's retired, and they pay him for like a couple hours of cleaning the church once a week. And so I was his big story that he got to tell people all the time. He thought this was so cool. I'm just like confused as can be. But I called the number, and he answers. It's the phone on the wall in the hallway, right?
Yeah.
And so he answers the phone, and I say, "Hi, this is Dave Bresnahan. I've been reading about your church, and I want to join, but I don't know what to do."
But he was all excited.
He just went
tell
nuts.
you.
He's got this phone, right? He dropped the phone, and it's clanging against the wall. Bonk, bonk, bonk. And I'm thinking, what the heck is going on? And he gets back on the phone, and I tell him kind of a little bit of my story, and he says, "Well, you need to talk to the bishop. He's great. He'll answer all your questions." And I said to him, "There's no way on earth I'm talking to any bishop. No way. Because I know bishops, right?"
Yep. From,
Yeah.
Catholic bishops. Yep.
And crozier, the hook thing. And the only bishops I knew were mean. Now, I don't know if they were really mean, but all my friends told me they were mean. So as far as I'm concerned, they're mean.
They're mean.
I don't want to talk to them. And that's because they're so strict. So he ends up saying, "Well, I guess we could have you call the elders." And I said, "Oh, cool." And in my mind, I'm thinking, they've got a job for the old guys. This is
These old
nice.
wise men that are going to come teach me about the church.
Talk to a couple elders. That would be great. So he gives me the number. I call the number. I said the same thing. Now, what I didn't know was any of the backstory of elders. And I happened to call on transfer day. And the greenie elder has just been picked up at the bus station. They've just come into the apartment, and this senior companion has gone to the bathroom. Now I call on the phone.
You got this 19-year-old kid on the line.
Elder answers the phone, and I said, "Hi, this is Dave Bresnahan. I've been reading about your church, and I'd like to join, but I don't know what to do. They told me to call you."
He probably thought this was a prank.
He drops the phone. and so I can't understand what's so weird about these people. They're so strange. And he goes running across a wooden floor so you can hear him go clunk, 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 clunk. And he gets to the bathroom door.
Elder.
He's banging on the door. Elder. It's serious. That's just what happened. You got to come to the phone. And I'm laughing on the other end.
Like, I've role played this in the MTC, but I really don't know what to do either.
So the senior companion comes out, picks up the phone. "Hello." I tell him the exact same thing, and he's calm, cool, collected, no problem at all. He tells us they'd be happy to come and talk to me, and how about 10:30 tomorrow? And I said, "That's perfect. 10:30 is great. We'll see you then." And they came over at 10:30, and I just couldn't get enough. The kids were showing up in the barn at 3:00. And at 3:00, I went out to the barn and I said, "Hey, you guys, you're on your own today." And went back in the house.
Man.
And I just was so astonished, all the things that I was being taught. It was just so amazing. But the best thing of all was that they gave me a copy of the Book of Mormon. And I didn't really give it any thought until later. And I realized later, I already had a testimony. I already knew the Book of Mormon was the Word of God. It was true. Why did I know? Because of Moroni and the pamphlet. And I prayed about it. And I wanted to know if what I read was true. And it told all about how the Book of Mormon came about and what was in it, what it was about. And I just thought, you know what? Jesus Christ wouldn't just sit in the area around Jerusalem and teach the people there. Naturally, he'd want to go and teach people all over the world. And so it was logical. It just made sense to me. Sure. Why wouldn't he come to the Americas? And so I just thought the whole thing was so amazing. Before the elders came, the time between when I read the pamphlets and when the elders came was actually probably 2 weeks. Remember I had said the Lord wasn't giving up? Well, he was bugging me all that time. And I did sincerely decide I've got to get a copy of the Book of Mormon. And so where did I go? The library. You don't have internet, no Google.
Yeah.
So back in those days, I used to spend a lot of time in the library, school projects, things like that. Went to the library, and it's a small town. I had like 100 in my graduating class. It's a little farm town, dairy and orchard, and everybody knows everybody. And so I walked into the library, and the lady's there. Hey, Dave, how are you? Haven't seen you in a while. And it's like, and so I was almost embarrassed to ask, but I went up to her and I said, is there on the research shelves or something a copy of the Book of Mormon? I said, I'd like to read it. She said, we don't have one of those. I know we don't. She said, why don't you check Hopkinton? That's the next town over. So I went to their library. Nope. I went to a couple more libraries. Nope. And the last library I went to, they said, I think if you go to the county library, you'll get one there. So I went all the way to the county library, and the lady says, yeah, we've got one. It's up on the second floor. She said, go through the 2 main doors, and the lady at the desk, tell her what you're looking for. She'll show it to you. Wow. I thought, I've got a gold mine. So I went upstairs through the doors that said rare book section.
Oh, wow.
And the lady says, oh, yeah, come here. I'll show it to you. It's under this glass case over here.
What?
The first edition copy of the Book of Mormon.
First edition. I'm guessing they didn't let you take
You
it.
can see it opened up to the one page that it's on. No, you can't read it. Cannot touch it.
Do you remember what page it was open to?
No.
Okay.
At that time, I didn't know anything about it, so it meant nothing to me. So I couldn't get a copy of the Book of Mormon. But when it arrived with the missionaries, now I have one. It's that blue one with the Moroni on it,
Yeah.
You see those?
Was it hardback or was it soft cover?
They're soft, and it's like gold embossed, and it's a lighter blue.
Yeah. Very cool. So that was my first copy of the Book of Mormon, and they gave me like scriptures that I should read from it to be ready for the next lesson.
Yeah.
And I read those like in 15 minutes, and then I'm like, what do I do now? Well, let's just start from the beginning. So I can tell you that if you do that, it takes 36 hours to read the Book of Mormon.
Jeez.
Did you sleep?
Only a little bit.
Like Parley P. Pratt over here.
I read the Book of Mormon. I could not put
it down. And I'd tell myself, I've got to get to bed. And 2 hours later, I'd tell myself, this is crazy. I really got to go to bed. And I was eating junk food, sitting there, keep reading. I was so excited to read it. And I couldn't believe I actually had my own copy. What ultimately happened within a matter of a few weeks, I bought a case of Book of Mormon from the mission office, and the missionaries and I went to the libraries all over the area, making sure there was a Book of Mormon in every library. So that's how I discovered the Book of Mormon.
Like Johnny Appleseed.
And that's why I'm
Books
always
of Mormon.
ready to give one away.
That's so cool.
So that's my conversion story, and I have never lost my enthusiasm or excitement about the church. I wanted to serve a mission, so I went to the bishop of this new ward that I was in, and actually he called me in and called me to be, this was scary as could be. He called me to be the second counselor in the young men's presidency, which meant I was a scoutmaster.
Yeah.
But I was already a scoutmaster. Yeah. So now there's a battle. There's a battle, and the guy from the council came and is trying to negotiate with the bishop and keep me in. They need me. You can't take him away. And all this stuff is going on. It was really wild. So it was pretty cool. I enjoyed my scouting experience with them. And I stayed in that ward for about a year and a half until I connected up with the BYU coach and had shipped him a kid for his team. And he now is basically recruiting me to come out there, which I did. And
so you had joined the church before you took the job at BYU?
I didn't have a job at BYU.
Oh, you didn't?
No. But before you moved out to
Before you moved to Utah, you had joined the church.
Joined the church.
He owned his own private little school.
Yeah. That's right. Okay. So before you took on that was the feeder. Yeah. That was the feeder program to BYU.
Yeah, as a feeder program, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Before you took that, you had already joined the church at this point.
I had, yes.
Okay.
I had. And it was kind of interesting because I learned that Wayne Young was the coach of the BYU team, and I already knew him. And I thought, why didn't he tell me about his church? He was the captain of the 1976 Olympic team that went to Montreal.
Okay.
And I knew him from that. So once we spent time talking, he just didn't have to twist my arm at all, and off I went. The only problem was I have one kid that came from a broken home, and I was coaching him and basically taking care of him a lot. So bottom line was, he was really upset when I told him I'm moving to Utah.
Oh.
And I said, look, there's all these other gymnastic programs going on around us. And I told him where I recommended, and he was like, no, nobody's as smart as you, and on and on. And so it was right at the time his mom and dad were going separate ways, and I met with them, and they were like, he can go to Utah with you, but we have no money. So if you're going to foot the bill, take him, but otherwise he can't go.
Mm.
So I brought Mike with me, and he finished his high school at Orem High instead of Millbury High. And he was going to BYU and working out with the team there quite frequently. And I would come and coach him. But so one of the kid that I had sent there that they recruited, that kind of kicked it all off, they had used to work out together. They were just a couple years difference in age. And so the coach at BYU had the unique opportunity to scout this kid in his own gym for a whole year.
That's cool.
And so, of course, Mike got a full ride scholarship to BYU.
Cool. Good.
And became one of the stars of the team. So that was cool. And what's really even cooler than that is probably about 2 months ago, I finally found him. I haven't been in touch with him in all these years. And he's just not a social media guy. And I couldn't find him. And I'm a good detective. I could not find him anywhere. And I talked with other gymnasts. Where's Mike? No idea. Haven't heard from him. So he was kind of like, went into his new life of being a programmer. And I think he's a coder. And so he's going to be here on Friday.
Will that be the first time you've seen him?
It'll be the first time I've seen him since I left on a mission. So I got to Utah, and I have a new bishop. Bishop wants to get to know me. Come on in the office. And he's like, tell me all about you. Where have you been, what you've been doing? Did you go to BYU? I'm living in Orem.
Yeah.
And he says, where'd you go on a mission? Things like that. And I just said, I haven't been on a mission. And he said, why not? And I said, well, I went to my bishop right after I got baptized and said, I want to be like these missionaries. How do I get a deal like them? And because I just wanted to shout it from the rooftops. All I want to do is tell people about the church. And he said, well, in a year, come and see me and we'll do it, but you have to wait a year. Okay, I'll see you in a year. So I marked it on my calendar. And 1 year from the day I was baptized, I was knocking on the bishop's door. And I went in, what's up? Why are you here? And I told him why. And he just did oh. And so come in my office. And we sat down and he said, when you joined the church, I had no clue how old you were. And I just assumed you were a lot younger than you are. And he said,
it's the good hair.
Yeah.
The actual physical general handbook. And he opened up to a page and he said, see right here, the maximum age is 25.
25, yeah.
You're too old. So he says, your job is find a wife and get married, raise your kids. When you retire, the two of you are going to go on a mission. That's how you go on a mission. And I was like, oh, really? Because I had already followed the advice of my roommate. And he told me, if you're serious about going on a mission, you got to stop dating. Because I was actively dating.
As you do.
It's
natural.
This is like pressing the gas and the brakes at the same time in a car.
So he's told me don't date. So I've spent the majority of the past year not dating.
In order.
Now I get to the bishop, and the bishop says, get married. So anyway, then along comes, come on out to Utah. We have plenty of single women here. You'll like it, Utah. And so I'm like, oh, okay, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to Utah. So I get to Utah, and this bishop says, I never heard of that. I'm going to check into this. Do you mind if I check in? No, go ahead. And he says, look, if I find out you can go on a mission, will you go? And I said, in a heartbeat. I didn't believe he was going to find a way for me to go because I'd been through all that already.
Yeah.
I talked to the stake I went over my bishop's head, talked to the stake president. You know who the stake president was? Think of Boston, Massachusetts stake president.
Mitt Romney?
Bingo. That's how we became buds.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm thinking there's no way. So I'll say, oh yeah, sure, I'll go. And because I'm all settled in here in Utah.
Yeah.
And now they just found out I can date. So I'm figuring I'm going to stay right here. One of the kids that I was coaching gymnastics says they're having an early morning fireside at his seminary. And it's Paul H. Dunn. And I had already mentioned how much I like Paul H. Dunn and the stories he tells to these kids. And the kids and their parents are all fascinated with me. And a couple of their wards had me come and do firesides. And so he said, you really ought to come and see Paul H. Dunn. So I thought, yeah, this is cool. Even though it's at 6 a.m, I'll go. So Paul H. Dunn does his thing. It's all over. Millions of kids are lined up to see him. And I'm thinking, oh, I'll never get to talk to them. And so I'm just sitting and watching. And as the line gets really close, I jump up and get in the line for fear they're going to close it off or something if I don't get there. And so I get to Paul H. Dunn. Now, keep in mind, I'm the short guy. I'm the short little gymnast. And Paul H. Dunn is this 6-foot-something baseball player, pitcher. And so he's looking down at me like this, and we're talking, and I come from Massachusetts, and I was Worcester Ward, and, oh, do you know this one? Do you know that one? I was mission president there. And I said, yeah, I know. You didn't turn over enough rocks to find me, because you could have found me, and I could have been a member a lot sooner. And oh, we're sorry about that. And I said, I got a problem I need to ask your help with. And he says, what is it? And I said, well, I want to be a missionary. Well, good for you. And he grabs my hand, and he's shaking my hand and patting me on the shoulder at the same time. And I'm looking up at him, and I said, they won't let me. Why not? And I said, well, 25. And I happen to be 28. And he said, oh, yeah, that might be an issue, but I'll tell you what, you go back to your bishop and you tell him that I said, put your papers in and let the prophet decide.
Yeah.
So I said, really? He says, yeah. He said, who signs all those letters? If he's not going to want you to go, he'll tell you. All right. So I'm sitting in church on Sunday waiting to just kind of broadside the bishop coming down the aisle. And he sees me and he's all smiles. Brother Bresnahan, I've got great news. And I said, well, I have great news. He said, well, you go first. I said, no, you said it first. Go ahead. He says, I talked to the stake president and he says we should put your papers in and let the prophet decide.
That's awesome.
So I told him about Paul H. Dunn, and he said, I guess that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So we filled out the papers, just got it going really fast, ran around to a doctor and a dentist. Like, I just kept calling until I could get an appointment tomorrow, not weeks. And whoever said, that was the one I went to. And so bottom line is I received a call 2 weeks later to go to Ireland.
Oh my gosh.
Which is the home of my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm such a recent American that I have living cousins in Ireland.
Oh wow.
That my grandmother had been writing to, so we had stayed in touch as a family. But then all of a sudden it started to happen. People were saying things like, oh, President Kimball's pretty feeble and he probably didn't notice your age. And I think this is a mistake. And it happened so often that I thought, oh my goodness, maybe, yeah. And so I wrote a letter to President Kimball. This is for real. I wrote a letter and it said, I'm a big boy. I can take it. If this was a mistake, you can tell me, I'll understand. 2 days later, I got a letter.
Elder Bresnahan, this is no mistake.
It says, there's like 2 sentences. The Lord and I are expecting you to serve in Ireland. Or I think it said the Ireland Dublin mission. Good luck on your mission. Signed, Spencer W. Kimball. And that was it.
That's cool.
You still have the letter?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's in that journal from that time period.
Get rid of something like that.
My parents,
So
my middle name is named after Spencer W. Kimball.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Dave Spencer.
Gotcha. That's cool.
And my grandpa has an Irish well, he had an Irish passport. So I have a lot of Irish ancestry also.
Well, my cousins that I mentioned are anxious for me to come back. Like coming up on the 24th is an election, and they're all involved in politics, and they want me to come back and vote. And I sent them an email just yesterday. I sent them an email and said, I'd actually like to have that as an excuse to come back to Ireland, but there's nobody on the ballot that I can vote for, so it's just not going to do it.
So Conor McGregor stepped down.
Conor McGregor stepped down.
Oh, that was sad. So they wouldn't let him run for president.
They wouldn't let him. I thought he voluntarily stepped down.
That was because what was happening behind the scenes.
Okay.
That was part of the deal to make it politically.
Kind of saving face.
Understandable.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was
in order to be on the ballot, you have to be approved by Parliament.
Okay.
Oh.
And so the liberal factions in Ireland prevented anybody that even smelled like a conservative or had friends who were conservatives. That's it. You're not going to be on the ballot.
Okay.
And so there's 2 women on the ballot right now, and they're the most liberal women you could ever imagine. And I'm embarrassed. I took when we had visitors, church officials, I would bring them to the Dublin Castle is the name of the building where the president is. The president is just the figurehead. They have no political power, which is so silly that they go through all this. And it was it was embarrassing. I was truly embarrassed for my country. The only thing going good for it are my cousins, who are strong conservatives and in the minority party. The party gets like 5% of the total vote.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so they're a real minority.
Okay.
But they're enthused. They used to get 3%, now they get 5%. So
Hey, that's a big jump. Way to
they're
go.
growing.
That's
Yeah.
nearly double.
So anyway, yeah, Irish, you don't talk about politics, you don't talk about religion, and you don't talk about sports. If you talk about any of those things, there's going to be a fight. Absolutely.
That's so
No question.
true.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just looking to fight.
Yeah, they are.
So you
what
served a
was-
full-time proselyting mission in Ireland.
What was
Yes,
it like?
I did. It was, so for me, it was outstanding. It was what I really needed to really, really get to know and understand the church. Pardon me. Many of the missionaries that I served with were less enthusiastic because it's so hard.
Yeah.
You're in a land where I was blown up by a terrorist bomb.
Oh my
They
gosh.
blew up our flat, our apartment. And I had a terrorist stop in his car, get out, walk over to the two of us as we were tracting, and said if he saw us in that neighborhood again, he would kneecap us. He said, "You're a man of God, so I'm giving you fair warning. You're back
Jeez.
here again, kneecaps will be gone." And I'm one of those people that's really feisty, and we came back the next day. And my companion was from Brussels, Belgium, and he was okay. He's like, "I'm coming back. I don't stop." So he never showed up again, but they put a car bomb in front of our apartment and blew it up. And so that was my experience with the Troubles in Ireland.
Yeah.
When I was serving in Northern Ireland. And it was a place that many missionaries were struggling because you get Catholics and Protestants, and those are at each other's throats.
Yeah.
And if you were to not be a Catholic anymore, that was like being anti-patriotic.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You could stop going to church, nobody cared. But if you said you're a Mormon now and you're not a Catholic, no, can't
It's
happen.
tied to your national identity.
Yeah. So I have cousins that come to our church, but they're not members.
I ran into a lot of similar stuff in Russia with that.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. The politics is just so strong. But then my wife and I went back to Ireland. So my wife
On a senior mission, or
yes, I just got back in May.
oh, you're fresh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
You
just
can
got back
tell.
in-
Look at him. He just barely got off a mission.
So your
so
wife,
it's-
you and your wife just got back a few months
We just
ago
got back.
from a
Yeah.
senior mission in Ireland.
We were the only couple serving in the entire country of Ireland.
Wow.
And now
My wife's grandparents served in, I think, that same mission, but this was years ago.
yeah.
So
Cool.
yeah, that's
Cool.
really cool.
Yeah, so I was in a small branch in the western part of Ireland. We lived in Tralee, which is next to the town where my grandparents immigrated from. Castle Island was right next to Tralee. So I was home and went to the family farm, was welcomed with open arms. It was great.
Wow.
The farm is called Ferranabrack, and that's the name of my movie production
I
company.
was going to say, I've seen that name before. I thought I saw it on some trailers on your IMDb.
Ferranabrack is actually the family farm, and that's where I got the name to name my company.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So after your first mission, you came home. How did
Yes.
you meet your wife?
Well, my bishop was a former professor at BYU, and he tried to get me to go to BYU. And the only problem is to transfer my grades, see, I never finished college.
Yeah.
If I transfer those grades, I was not an all-star student because all I did was sleep in, miss class, and then go to the gym. And
Dave, that sounds like my first 3 years of college too.
Sounds like
so that didn't work very good. My GPA was a 1.8, and BYU.
Oh my goodness!
And my mission president actually got on the phone, and I don't know who he was talking to, but at the time, I'm now in the office, and I can overhear, and he is arguing for me, saying, I thought as a church we believed in repentance. So finally, within a few days of that, he came to me and said that somebody was sending him the Deseret News from home. And he said, here, I just noticed this story. And here, take it and read it and see what you might think. And it talked about Westminster College was searching for new students, and they had scholarships. And it gave lists of all the things that could qualify, and you could add up enough to pay for a really expensive school and not have to pay.
That's a private college, isn't it?
It wouldn't hurt to see what happens. So I just sent a letter. They sent an application, filled it out, sent it in. And the next thing you know, I have a full scholarship that included room and board money.
Oh, to Westminster? With a 1.8 GPA?
They don't even do that in for the gymnastics team I was on. You didn't get room and board. You were lucky. They divided it up to spread scholarship money all around. You might get a quarter scholarship. Somebody else got a half. This guy got a quarter. So it was just a little bit here and there. And I couldn't believe I was going to this school and not having to pay a dime. And in effect, I had all this money.
That's where
the grandparents of one of those 16-year-old kids that I had met that inspired me to learn more of the church, I was living in the grandparents' basement for free. They had already insisted there's no way they're taking my money. So I had money to live on, and I thought, well, I have to get to school. I'm buying a car. And so I got a car, and it was a piece of junk. But it got me to and from. And so that was what happened. And the bottom line for me was I was in school. I was going to finish a degree that I thought I'd never finish. So I got my degree. And Wes, you asked about my wife. So Westminster, if you were there, they had a little tiny institute. They had a house that's across the street from Westminster, and you met in this house. One class at a time was going on, and 5 or 6 students would be in the class, and that was institute. And so even the institute teacher said, you need to go up to the U and check out the institute there because they have a larger variety of classes. I had told him I wanted to graduate, and it was estimated I would get done in 1.5 to 2 years. I'd finish college. And so I said, I want to graduate institute, but how do I do that taking one class from you per semester? It's not going to work. Yeah. And so he said, you got to go up to the U and take some more classes. So I went up there, enrolled in some classes, and I did indeed graduate from institute. And I said, someday I'm going to be married and I have kids. And someday I'm going to be arguing with my kid to go to seminary. And I can't say that I went to seminary, but I can hold up my diploma and say I went to institute. If I can do that, then you can do this.
New seminary. Yeah.
Guess what I actually really did in real life? Had to get my kid out to seminary. And so once I was going to the institute, now I'm seeing all the posted stuff all around of stuff that's going on, social events, and that was really cool. And if you walk far enough down the hall, there's the door that says bishop's office. And so I thought, okay, they've got a ward here. So they had the student ward.
Mm-hmm.
There were like 4 of them meeting in the building. And I thought, this is cool. So I went to Westminster Institute and I said, wow, they got all this stuff up there. I'm glad you sent me. And he said, are you going to go to the ward? And I said, well, I'm just going to the one that's close to the house where I'm living because it's right there. And that'll be a long trip. And so within days, I get this phone call. And it's, hi, I'm Bishop Gillette. I'd like to meet with you. Can you come to my office? I said, you mean like your church office? Yeah. I said, I'm not in your ward. I don't know where you are, but
It's like, we're going to change that, Dave.
Gillette, so I know I'm not in your ward. And he said, well, I've talked to somebody about you, and I think I'd really like to meet you. Can you come and talk with me? And so I said, sure, okay. So I put on a shirt and tie, and I went up to the U and went to his office. And we had a visit, and when I came out the door, I was the executive secretary.
And the scout leader.
Not anymore. So that wasn't until after I got married. Then I was a scoutmaster again.
Did you negotiate gas money?
Yeah,
$50 a week.
Did you say, listen, if I have to drive to church every week, it is a little bit farther. Tithing needs to be like 9.9% or something.
Yeah, I would have been a winner.
Yeah.
So I noticed at Ward Council that they had family home evening group leaders. And so the ward was divided up into these groups, and they'd all come and report, and they're all doing really good, except this one girl says, it's been 4 weeks in a row, and absolutely no one has come to the home evening group in my group. And she's wanting to know, what are you doing? How do you get them to come? And so I'm making this mental note, and I'm looking her over, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to be her one that shows up. And so
This
I
is
said
perfect
to her,
because
what's your you got to wait to hear this part. What is your next home evening group plan? She said, well, I decided we needed to do something that would attract a lot of people to come. So we're going to the Hale Center Theater, and we're seeing such and such play. And that's our home evening group activity. And I'm thinking, wow, this could be good. So I showed up. I am the only one. And that means I'm on like a date.
Sounds like a date.
I know.
Her, me, and that's a date.
Yep.
So I even volunteered that I'm going to drive her to and from in my beat-up car. And it was you'll understand. It was a Ford Maverick.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. Oh.
They make Ford Mavericks still, right? They have the truck.
I don't know about that, but I do know
Ranger
that this
truck.
No, there's a truck called the Maverick.
Oh, okay. So they brought it back.
This was a car, and it was a beater that I bought for $400.
Yeah.
And I'd say a prayer every time just before I turned that key. Because sometimes it was complaining. So I took her there, brought her back, and walked her to the door. And she said, I'm getting the feeling that you consider this to be a date. And I said, yeah, do I get to give you a kiss goodnight? And she said, you're moving too fast, buddy. You have to become my best friend first. So I made mental note of that, become best friend. And it took me 2 years to get her to the point where she said yes. But it finally happened. I took her on, she wanted double dates. We went like the next week. I took her, I now have a roommate, and he's the guy who baptized me.
Oh, that's so cool.
Nice.
We ran into each other, became roommates, and so we all 4 are going on this date. And where did we go? The Salt Lake Trappers baseball game.
Oh, wow.
before the Bees, it was the Trappers.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to check out one of their games because I'm big into baseball, and it was really cool. So we went to the Trappers baseball game, and I was thrilled. She's cheering at all the right moments. She's saying the right things. She's complaining about calls from the umpire. And I thought, this girl knows baseball. This is so cool.
She's a catch.
Yeah. Yeah. So I told my roommate, after we dropped the girls off, I told him, that's the girl I'm going to marry. And he's laughing. Yeah, right. I said, no, serious. She's the one I'm going to marry. And that's how it happened. I had to make her my best friend.
How'd you propose?
Oh, this is hilarious. So in my mind, I'm going to take her to Temple Square, and we're going to go right outside the tabernacle where they always put up the Christmas display.
Yeah.
We're going to go outside there, and there's these big trees, and I'm going to bring her over, and I'm going to shield us from all the people around, get on the other side of the tree where I'm going to kneel down and give her a ring. And we got there not knowing that it was the 75th anniversary of the Boy Scouts of America, and there was a special broadcast going on inside the tabernacle. And we were literally surrounded by like 20,000 Boy Scouts that couldn't get in. So that the place is completely packed, and then there's like 20,000 hanging out outside, and I'm trying to propose. Go figure.
You didn't give them the scout symbol to get out?
Yeah.
Scram, guys.
So
Code Eagle. Move it.
We had an audience, and I just said to her, you better get used to this because it's been my whole life, and I'm sure no matter where we go, they're going to put me in with the young men, and I'm going to be involved with scouts. And she said, that's okay. I have 5 brothers. They were all scouts. I'm used to it. And so the girl said yes is the bottom line. So that was the cool part. And I proposed to her on Valentine's Day.
Oh, perfect.
It's an easy day to remember.
Well, yes, and I have to because it's a special day for her. So it's kind of like this extra day that we have to remember and have a special occasion on that day to commemorate this event. She even told the people on some radio station, and we won an award for the coolest story about how we got engaged.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool.
What do you remember what play you saw at Hale Center Theater?
Not a clue.
Me and
Not the important part of the story,
me and my wife, our first date, we went to Hale Center Theater.
Did you? That's cool.
Big Fish.
Ah, that's a good one.
It was really good.
So my latest movie, the story's called The Boy Who Knew Jesus. And the guy I got to play Jesus is a regular at Hale Center Theater. And I was thrilled to get him. And he did an outstanding job. I can't believe how good it was. The most incredible experience hanging out with Jesus. It was incredible. And the boy that played the boy, I didn't know, but it was just the experience he needed in his life. And he just was incredible. It's the story of Mark 14, verses 50 to 52. And it tells the story of how this boy rushed to Jesus, pushed his way through the soldiers and everybody when he was coming out of the Garden of Gethsemane and being arrested. The moment after Judas kissed the Savior, this boy showed up. Mark is the only one that tells the story. It's not in the others.
Yep.
And the boy shows up, and Jesus waves him off and says, the scriptures must be fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And then this boy goes, so in the scriptures, they made my life difficult because in the scriptures, it told how he was dressed only in a breechcloth. and that the soldiers grabbed him to try to take him. And when they grabbed him and pulled, the breechcloth came off, and he ran away naked. That's what the scriptures say. And they're left holding this breechcloth. So I had to make this family friendly and not have any issues.
Yeah.
And I had to make sure his mother was happy. And not only that, he's in my ward.
And we're back.
So
we're live.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. I wouldn't want to be dead. Where were we? We were talking about the movie.
Yeah.
This scripture is all about this incident that was brief and has become very unknown among Christians, anybody that reads the Bible, Mormons. I talk about it with people and they're like, I never heard that. And if you go and read it, it's there. It's just obscure, and we skip over it and don't remember.
2 verses, and it's only found in the book of Mark.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. So I have wanted to make this movie for years, and the motivation to make it was I was totally intrigued. This boy had to be incredible in my mind, because he ran to Jesus when everybody's running away from Jesus. All the apostles, it says, fled. They were scared for their life. And so I wanted to tell this boy's story. And I consulted some really great scriptorians. Robert Boylan.
No.
Ever hear of him?
No, I know who.
Yeah, okay.
I've heard of him.
So,
Dave would know.
he does a podcast. He's a podcaster, so you made it from that. But he's religious history, scriptorian guy, theologian. I don't know what his degree is, but he's a total nerd, and he knows everything. And so I went to him, and he basically said, there's no two theologians in agreement on who this boy is or what the deal is. There's a lot of conjecture, but nobody knows. And the one clue that I had is in the Joseph Smith translation. It has 2 additional words: a disciple.
Oh, okay.
So Joseph Smith inserted those words into those verses. So it just says a boy, comma, a disciple, comma, and then went on with the rest of it. And so that tells us a lot, actually. So a disciple is a student, and that would mean he hung around with Jesus a lot.
He knew him.
Yes, he did know him. That's why I gave the name that I did, the boy who knew Jesus.
So cool. I like that.
So I tried to tell what his life might have been, was most likely. And so I tell stories. We got him at the beginning of Jesus' ministry. His father carries him in and sets him on the ground. He's thrashing around and foaming at the mouth, and he's got an evil spirit in him. And that's from another story in the New Testament that also does not name the boy.
So in your story, you connect the 2, and this is the same.
I connect
boy.
the 2. So that's the start of his experience. And Jesus at that time heals him, and the father says, I don't know how to thank you. And Jesus says, hey, not these words, but hey, stick around. What I teach you will help you bless your family. And so he stays. And then the mean old Pharisee makes some snide-looking faces at all that's going on. And he says, this is a trick. He's of the devil. And the boy, who is just a moments ago foaming at the mouth, jumps up, points at the Pharisee. Who's that? It's me. So I'm the Pharisee, which I had a beard like yours, Dave, and I was so glad to get rid of it.
It's a fake beard.
Literally the next day it came off.
Getting some weird feedback here. You getting that feedback?
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
I can't. I'm not a technical
that's
person.
all right.
That's why I have a crew.
It's
on
going
my
away.
film set.
Sounds like it's going away. Dave, what
Yeah,
can you tell us
like
about
my money.
when is this supposed to release and where is it going? Where can people watch this?
So the first place the public will get to see it is at the Zions Indie Film Festival. It used to be called the LDS Film Festival, and that's at the Sierra Theater in Orem, and it'll be the week of February 23rd. 23rd is a Monday. That film festival goes the whole week to Saturday. Which day will it be showing? They're not going to tell us until they organize all of that, which will probably be only 2 weeks before.
Do you buy tickets online for that beforehand, or do you just show up and have to buy tickets?
It's wise to get them ahead of time. I have won the film festival 3 times now, so I'm hoping for a 4th.
All right.
And so I really want people to come. So buy your tickets early, get them online. If it's the same as what they've done before, they're only $5. So that's a
not
good
bad
deal.
at all.
We need to go.
Yeah, we need to go.
We need to go. We can meet you in person.
And shake hands and stuff. And the key to it is when you come in person, you'll get a ballot when you walk in the door, and you can vote for the film of the film festival that you consider the best. Hint, hint. And there's an award.
I think I'll pre-fill out my ballot.
Audience Choice Award is what
Audience
it's called.
Choice Award. Got it.
Yes. And in order to win that, you have to have way more people like your film than, like, if I have my cast and crew vote, nowhere near that. And that's about 40 people. And so you have to be good enough that you inspire regular attendees to do that. And this theater seats like 500 people. And the past ones that I got there was over 500 votes each time. So that was really cool to know that my films were getting that kind of response.
So you said you've won it 3 times. What were the names of the 3 films that won the 3 previous?
So I had Grandpa's Crazy and Devil's Men. Those are 2 feature films, both of which are family friendly. Devil's Men is a World War II thing, and it's a true story about an LDS guy from Wyoming. He was a rancher, and he got drafted and off to war. He went to Italy and was with the unit actually called the Black Devils, because they painted their faces black to go out at night and slit throats with the Germans. They'd sneak up behind them, and so it was a silent way to attack and get a lot of people. And this kid was absolutely repulsed by this. And so he started taking prisoners instead of slitting their throats. This is all history. One night, they brought back 400 German prisoners in one night. And when another soldier asked him, what he thought of all of this, that he'd accomplished it, he said, "We just made a lot of German mothers happy."
Yeah. I mean,
So it's a dramatic story, but it's also a romance.
Oh, okay.
Casey Elliott from Gentry
Yeah.
is one of the stars of the film, and his father, Rob Elliott, is a composer, composed all the music in the movie, and his mother wrote a love song for the film, and before they go off to war, it's like the last night, they're in a tavern in Montana where their training camp was, and he and his girlfriend are dancing. And Casey Elliott comes to the microphone and sings this love song, and it's just blow you away. So it's a World War II film that's not just for the guys. The girls would love the romance that goes on in this film.
Watch it with my wife.
And so that was cool.
When I was looking at your IMDb, I noticed it said that you had a part in Murder Among the Mormons, I think.
That's correct.
And yes. I tried to find you. It says John Pickup. And
yes, that's correct.
Okay, and I watched this a long time ago. Me and my wife did. Interesting,
This is that
interesting history.
Netflix
It's about Mark,
docu-series, right?
Mark Hoffman.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Who is John Pickup in the?
So John Pickup was the historian, a historian, not the head, but a historian at the church. And in the scene that I did, I went in and got the documents out of the safe and handed them to President
Okay.
Did you
Hinckley.
say any words during this, or is
I did not. No.
Okay.
This is a
Yeah.
documentary. So they illustrated it with actors playing the parts of what they're
Okay.
describing.
Yeah.
And that's typical of a documentary, and that's why I don't do documentaries. But a friend asked me to, so I did.
All right.
Okay, I have another question for you. You're okay.
I thought you were going to ask who's the friend.
I'll ask who's the
So
friend.
Who's a friend? Yes.
the director of the film was the director of goodness, I'm drawing a blank. Don't get old. My kids tease me, but I tell them I've been doing this ever since I was a kid. My brain does these blanks. This really dumb, silly movie with the guy from Idaho, Preston, Idaho.
Napoleon Dynamite. Jared Hess?
Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah, Jared
You're
Hess.
friends with Jared
He's
Hess?
the director of this documentary.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So he put me in another film too. The one about what's this guy? He's an archaeologist, and he brings back fake archaeology from Jerusalem area, and he brought back a skull that was supposedly Goliath. It had a hole in the middle, and he was scamming these Protestant born again church pastors and bringing these things and making money from it. And he ended up in prison. So I did some scenes in the prison with him. And that was another one where, and it was the last minute. It was like the day before they were going to shoot it. I really need you. Can you please come? I don't have anybody. And
I saw a picture on your IMDb when I was looking through the pictures. I think I saw a prison one on there.
Very likely. There were several prison ones, though, because I did another one. Some guy from Texas. We had a closed down prison in Tooele, and a lot of films have used that closed prison to do prison scenes. And this guy came from Texas to do one there, and he just flat out gave me some untruthful stuff. And in reality, I was like the stunt coordinator for a prison fight, and so I happen to be an EMT.
Okay.
And a lot of films use me as their set medic.
Okay.
When you have stunts, you have to have an EMT on set. And so I've always done the deal with, all right, you give me a part in the film, I'll be your set medic, and you don't have to pay me for the set medic.
Yeah.
You
2
get
for 1.
double for your money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this guy didn't even do that. He misled me, thinking I had a part. My part, in effect, was an extra fighting with prisoners, and I did the coordination of the fight.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work, and I didn't get to pay for it. So it's that's the business we're in. Unfortunately,
a lot of pro
that kind
bono
of
work,
happens.
What question you have, Dave? What is this?
So, and you can
The poster behind me, I have a display there from Grandpa's Crazy. There's a cut apart skateboard that was a trick skateboard that they used in a fight scene, and there's some pictures, and I have this little terrarium thing that one of the parents of one of the kids in the show made, this terrarium that had stuff in it from the movie.
Cool.
So I'm looking at page 33 on your IMDb page, and it has a picture. I'm assuming it's you, but it looks like you're in a costume, like an orc or a goblin.
Oh yeah. So I played. It's kind of funny. There's 5 different Mythica movies. They were so popular that they ended up making 5 of them, and not knowing what was coming, I let them kill me off in the 3rd one.
Oh no!
So I thought, That's appropriate. It's near the end of the film, and I die. And I die by getting shot in the neck with an arrow by an orc. And so that was so cool that I want to die that way. This will be, and I had blood coming out my mouth, and all of that was pretty cool. And the Mythica thing was cool because I was doing a movie with my youngest son, Joseph. So he was being a soldier, and he was a extra in the film. So I got to be in this film, 3 of them, with my younger son.
Oh, that's cool.
And now he's continuing on. They announced 4 and 5, and he's going to keep going. And I'm out.
Was he the orc that killed you?
No. He was a soldier. He was a regular soldier, and which he liked. I mean, what teenage boy wouldn't like to get dressed up with armor and a sword and helmets and the whole deal? And so, and we did that with Saints and Soldiers. All the soldiers that were extras were my Boy Scouts.
Oh, that's cool.
So if you knew me, you get to be in movies. That basically has been the constant story. And so Saints and Soldiers 3 is packed with Boy Scouts. And they were happy. The kids did a great job. And the kids were happy because in between takes, they were running around in the woods with real M1 rifles, pretending to be Army soldiers in the woods. So, and when the director found out, he's totally freaked because, we could have an accident, Dave. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. They're gone. They ran off on their own.
Listen up, boys. I'm going to leave these guns here and look away.
Yeah. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, I'm having one of my workshops. I do acting workshops for kids. Cool. And tomorrow is one. There's no school in the Alpine School District tomorrow. And so,
you live in Alpine.
I live in Eagle Mountain. But that's still the Alpine School District. It's going to change, but right now it's that district. And so I have most of the kids who were just in the Boy Who Knew Jesus. I have them coming to this because I teach kids how to act, and I do it for free because that way I have this pool of kid actors that I can call upon. And my next film is going to be made during the Christmas school break. I'm making a Christmas movie about kids in a 5th grade school class. And most of the Christmas movies that are made in Utah are made in July.
We had one shot here in Brigham City in July.
Yeah, absolutely. All the Hallmark
movies are made
in Utah.
Yep. Masonville.
Yeah, they were all made here. And they use fake snow. Fake snow is very expensive. And so there was no way I'm going to pay for fake snow. I'm the bargain basement filmmaker.
I've been in some pretty low budget productions too, Dave.
Okay. So, I don't spend money when I don't have to. If I just wait a few more months, I got snow for free.
Yep.
So we're going to hope there's snow between Christmas and New Year's during the school break. And I just need 3 days. It's going to be a short film. And it'll be one of those films that you see at Deseret Book for $7 or $8, at the checkout counter.
Do you need anybody for video editing? And the reason I'm asking is I might have a friend who might be willing to do it for free.
Well, I already like your friend a lot.
Not this friend. I have a different friend.
I'll do the podcast editing, but that's about it.
No, I have a friend who does video editing.
Put us in touch.
Very, very, very good at it. And
put us in touch.
Yeah,
that'd be great. So there's that film, and then I have feature films that I'm going to do. One is called Skateboarding Aliens.
Oh, sci-fi.
No, this is a real thing, Dave.
There are actually skateboarding aliens that I don't know about.
According to President Trump, there are illegal aliens in this country, and they skateboard.
Well, I have been asked the question, seriously. You send your scripts to script writing contests to try to get notoriety to your script. So I have won the H.G. Wells Science Fiction Award for Skateboarding Aliens.
Oh, nice.
And kid you not, 3 of the judges, after the thing is over, after I've got the awards, are able to contact me. So they did, and they all asked the same thing. Are there really these aliens? And in the script, it says there's going to be a text over the opening screen that says based on real facts. So they wanted to know, where's the aliens?
Yeah.
We want to talk to these guys. And I create a scenario both in that and another film that's in the works that is very believable.
Okay.
Is believable. So these kids on their planet have tapped into the radio waves coming from Earth, and they watch YouTube, and they see skateboarding videos, and it's like, whoa, I want to do this. We don't have this on our planet. We're going to Earth. And they call the parents in. Parents are looking over the shoulder at the screen, and we want to go there. That's called skateboarding. We want to do that. And the parents are like, no. Those kids don't look like they're very good to hang around. Bad influence. And so, no. And the kids say, okay, we're going. They steal mom and dad's spaceship and they go to Earth. And they don't know it, but the bad kids whose parents are space pirates, and these teenage kids they want to prove to their parents they can be space pirates too. They see these kids take off and they take their parents' spaceship and they're chasing them through space. And so the conflict begins, and it's pretty crazy.
That's
anyway,
fun.
It'll be a fun one to do.
Yeah.
And then we have another one called Kids on Mars. And that one's a dead serious one. It's about the first kids born on Mars.
Oh.
And when teenagers, they become very rebellious because we didn't ask to be born on Mars.
Sure.
We want to be on Earth where we can play sports, and this one wants to play in an orchestra, and etc. All things that aren't going on Mars, and no hope that they will. So that's kind of the start of it. It gets pretty crazy because there's a sabotage thing, and all the parents get killed.
Whoa!
And only the kids are left, and they have to survive, and then they have to deal with what they discover. I'm giving the stuff I shouldn't disclose.
Okay.
They find out the reason the explosion happened that killed their parents is there was a saboteur.
Oh.
Saboteur is still alive and in hiding and plotting to get rid of the kids. So now we have a battle on our hands, and it gets to be pretty wild.
I bet you it's a skateboarder from another planet.
Yeah, it could be.
Where are you filming that one at?
So the skateboarding one?
No, the Kids on Mars.
Kids on Mars is going to be a West Desert thing and a green screen thing.
Yeah.
Skateboarding aliens is a lot of green screen because they're flying in a spaceship, and they make friends of kids on Earth, and they go joyriding in space.
Oh, that sounds fun.
And they decide to land on the moon. I mean, what's cooler than that? If you got a spaceship, come on, we're going to the moon.
Yeah.
And especially because this spaceship can go really fast. You can get to the moon in I can quote it, 3.8 seconds.
Wow.
You will be standing on the moon.
That is really fast.
So it's a really cool spaceship. So this spaceship is the equivalent of a sports car in space.
Okay.
See, he's telling you that it's only going to take 3.8 seconds, but these people only live for an hour. Perspective.
Yeah.
They have the most incredible wormhole deals that you can imagine.
That's great.
So the planet these guys come from, do you know the star Sirius?
Yeah.
So Sirius is the third brightest item in the sky. And so it's 6.8 light years away, and they come from a planet that's orbiting Sirius.
Oh, okay. So they got to have wormholes.
Yeah.
Wait, how many
no matter
light
where they
years
go,
away did you say?
He said 6.8.
6.8 is relatively close. That's super close for space.
It's closest deal to,
Yeah.
yeah. It's the closest sun to the Earth, other than our sun, and it is 3.8 seconds to travel in the wormhole, no matter where the wormhole goes.
Well, that's because
good
the
wormhole.
wormhole
It bends space-time.
punches.
Yeah, right. So the length doesn't actually determine anything. It's just the dematerialize and materialize. It takes.
Can I ask you a question? You sound like you like sci-fi. What sci-fi shows and movies and books shaped you and that you really enjoyed through your life?
Well, absolutely started with Star Trek.
The original, right?
Absolutely
Okay.
started with the original Star Trek. No question about it. And then I'm a big fan of Isaac Asimov and Orson Scott Card. And if I had the funds, I would make all of the Ender books into movies.
Oh, okay.
Every one of
The
them.
Ender. Have you read the Ender book?
I haven't.
Ender
My
Games
wife
book?
has, though.
Okay. I watched the movie first, and then I read the book a couple years ago. And the book
okay,
has
so you've read
so much in it that's not in the movie.
Yes.
Like the whole
Right.
the brother and the sister and everything they're doing
Yeah.
to like basically keep Earth from killing itself. Because the
Right.
Civil War is going to break out as soon as Ender kills them. And I have 4 more books. We're partway through the second one. They're very interesting. And
Yes.
the amount of time that Ender lives because of the space travel, when him and his sister
Yes.
start traveling the universe, it's fascinating.
And it's all based on facts. It's
I'll have
all
to-
based
The
on science.
the science
Yeah, the
on
science
it,
is sound. Yeah.
the science is sound. As long as your heart doesn't like explode when you get to light speed, you're fine.
Yes,
I'll have to read it.
there's some specific problems with the physical traveling. Accelerating to light speed is the challenge
Yeah.
they all have.
Yeah.
Once you're at light speed, no problem. But getting there will kill you.
And decelerating will kill you too.
Yeah. It's not going to be pretty either. You'll be a splat on the wall.
If you like Star Trek, I really like the new Strange New Worlds.
Oh, good.
It's very
Yeah.
it's Captain
Makes sense.
it's Captain Pike and Captain Kirk's in it, but it's just a ton of fun. They take some gambles, but they're doing things that remind me of like the old school Star Trek kind of, bringing up the social issues. But they did a musical episode. The whole episode is music.
I saw that.
Yeah, so
Yes,
you've seen
yes.
it. They did a crossover with Lower Decks, which is
The animated.
the animated one that's hilarious. That one's funny.
Yeah, I don't do the animated thing at all, but I am a huge sci-fi fan, and I, as a kid, was very into Isaac Asimov, and then as an adult, because of my wife, who had lots of Orson Scott Card books, and she got me into Ender's Game. And that was it. I just dove in head first. And then when Orson Scott Card became a professor at Southern Virginia University, I was ready to sign up for a class. I told my wife, we're going to move to Virginia just so I can take classes from him. And I'm serious. That was very close to happening.
Were you 45 years old, but you only look to be 23 still?
Actually, I went out there with 2 of my 3 sons, trying to help them recruit my sons
Oh,
to school as baseball players.
Okay.
Both my kids played great in high school, and I thought I was going to lure them into being on that team because they really needed a strong number of players, and I had 2 for them. And they wanted them, and they were ready to give scholarships, and they're ready to get, they did not want to be that distant from friends.
I see. Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
the sphere of influence thing just was keeping them there.
So
And so, anyway, go
So
ahead.
it's past 10:30.
That's really ridiculous. Do people really sit on your podcast this long?
Yeah.
Gosh.
We just chat.
I listened to a 6-hour podcast once. Stick of Joseph. I think it's really fun, but it's not one sitting. I'll listen to 2-3 hour conversations, 'cause doing the dishes, mowing the lawn, driving.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, but
Yeah, so I do that with my audiobooks, so it's the same thing.
Yeah. I do have, before we close out, Dave, I want to go back just real quick to gymnastics, and I want to ask a question. What, if any, very basic human movement would you like to see or would be beneficial for the general population? And I'm going to general population that one.
So, quite frankly, I think the best thing that anyone can do that's realistic, that you can do it every day and be faithful. So the hard part is, when any kind of working out, is doing it on a regular basis and keep going. And part of the problem is you need to make time for all that. And your round trip to and from, or even if you set up a gym like I have done in your house, you still have all that time. One, you're going to put in what? I couldn't work out for less than 45 minutes, bare minimum. And it usually just went longer than an hour without me planning it that way. So you get that, and you got to shower, and then afterwards, oh my gosh, all the protein starts getting poured in. So you got to have time to now create. And I get into not just a protein shake. I need real food. And for me, that's meat. And I don't want a slice of ham. I want hefty stuff. So that was so impractical. Bottom line, what's best? You got a choice of two different things. Yoga or Tai Chi.
Yoga or Tai Chi. Okay.
Yep. Either one of those. Tai Chi you can do 10 minutes. That's plenty. It will keep you trim. It will keep you fit. It will keep you toned. You still do the protein. And the same with yoga. So
Smart man you
Yoda
are.
can do it. So yoga is not going to be 10 minutes. It's going to be 15.
Yeah.
So short term, easy to do every day. You don't have to go anywhere. There are so many apps and pre-recorded deals that will take you through everything, so you get variety and you don't get bored. And it's just that simple. Sometimes we try to make things complicated when they're not. Sometimes we try to make this little deal into a big deal. It's not. It's a little deal. And so we don't really need to make a huge deal out of this. I just think the average person would stay healthy and stay fit if they just do yoga or Tai Chi. And you can start anytime those things. When you get the app, you just click the beginner one. And it doesn't matter how old, it doesn't matter how young, everybody can do it.
Yeah.
So I sound like I'm selling an app. I'm not.
No, this is funny because the Tai Chi one, and I haven't done any Googling, I haven't been talking to anybody, has popped up on my YouTube ads like 3 times in the past 3 days.
And now it's going to come up even more.
Doesn't
that drive you nuts? Well, if you even if you just shop for something on Amazon without buying it, you're gonna hit with ads like crazy. And then if you buy it, you get even more ads. What? I don't get why why are you showing me ads for something I bought?
I know. Well, that's why, like, if you have your phone, be like, oh, my phone's about to die. Can I borrow yours? And then you look up things on their phone just to, like, the more embarrassing, the better.
This is why I never let Dave have my phone.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, for sure.
Well, this has been great, Dave. I've enjoyed this conversation. Any last minute things that you want to let the audience know? We've talked about the film festival coming up. We've talked about some of your upcoming projects. Any last minutes where you want to put a plug in?
So we'll plug the film festival. Those guys are awesome. I love them. Look for the Zion's Indie Film Festival. And I think it's Ziff, ziff.com. I think they used that. And then, but if you do Google it, it'll show up. And that will tell you the time of and what all the films are that they get. And then the other thing that I would share is if you're interested in a really great fireside, I give firesides and devotionals, whether it's for a youth camp, come to a stake, come to a ward, whatever it is. And I will be showing my new film, The Boy Who Knew Jesus. That film specifically is my effort to invite people to come to Christ.
Okay.
And we already began because not all of the cast and crew are faithful, active Latter-day Saints. And so some of them have, just from working on it, felt inspired to start learning more. And some who are active, faithful Latter-day Saints are becoming stronger just from their experience being in the film. What would it be like to spend 3 days sitting, walking, and talking with Jesus and receiving his incredible lessons aimed right to you? And I can tell you that there were many times on set when I'd look around and there's people crying as they're watching a scene being filmed. This is a great film for teenagers, especially because they can identify with this young teen boy. He goes through his problems as a boy. He has a normal life as a kid. He has fights with his father. He struggles with the things Jesus is teaching. He's like, all right, I get it. You're telling me I got to love everybody. But how do I love that Pharisee over there? How do I love these Roman soldiers that are hauling you away? And I hate them. How can I change? I want to, I don't know how. And Jesus gives answers that every kid should hear because it will apply to whatever their problem is. So adults are going to benefit from that too. So I'm really hopeful that the best way to see my film is at a fireside at your ward or stake. And so have your leaders give me a call, send me an email, and we'll send them the info.
Well, Dave, I happen to sleep with the young women's president in our ward, so
oh, that's perfect.
Does your wife know?
I would hope so. I'll put a bug in her ear for that.
Yeah,
do
sure. That. The sooner you get scheduled, serious, because I've already got 5 scheduled.
Okay,
and
that'd be really fun.
That would be. Really fun.
Be available right before Thanksgiving. It'll be available.
Okay, awesome.
He could come up to
the thing I'd like to do the most and get your followers to get me to do some firesides and stuff.
Okay,
I will go anywhere they want to see this.
Camp Manaway.
Oh, Camp Manaway would be
like. Have you ever up in Box Elder?
Yeah.
Have you been up there? It's beautiful.
Local, right? Yeah.
They've got when is youth conference?
I'm willing to travel. I even have a stash of frequent flyer miles for the very thing. So, for example, where I came from, Massachusetts, that's one of the ones already scheduled.
Oh, that's so cool! Awesome.
So, I will come flying if you want to see it. The boy will be there, and Jesus will be there most of the times.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Any last minute questions, Dave?
No, this has been awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you.
We ran into each other. This is great.
Yeah.
I know you're busy, and just two random Daves
Yeah.
on the internet reached out to you, and thank you for sharing.
Which is a great concept. I love the concept of your show. And I skipped through, just listening here and there just to get a feel. And I just want to make sure these guys are okay. And not weird me out.
We're 13-year-old boys in men bodies.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
True.
That's the way to be.
You got to put us in touch with the other Dave Bresnahan.
Oh, my goodness.
Baseball Dave.
Baseball Dave.
Baseball Dave. Yeah, I'll see if I can find his contact info and send it to you.
See if he'd be interested, and then if he is, get us in contact.
Yeah, I'll do that.
You can tell him we'll give him a sweet mug.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's great.
We don't have a lot to offer, but a sweet mug.
A sweet mug is what we're offering. Okay. I don't have anything else. Thank you again, Dave, for all your time and coming on.
Excellent.
These have been the Daves of our lives, like sands through an hourglass.
I'm not saying.
You're not going to say it? Okay. That's our...
No, I'll tell. We always joke, we can be bought. Whenever we say like Google, like we're not sponsored, we can be bought. So we're trying to come up with an outro, and last time he said that like sands
through an hourglass.
We can be bought.
I like it. I like it. You should use it.
We're going to use it.
So I will hear from you at some point,
yeah.
And please send me a link to wherever it is so I can share it on my social media.
I will.
And tell people to check it out.
Okay. Thanks, Dave.
All right.
Have a great night.
Dave.
Great. All the best.